Hi, this is Tara from the website with my name, tarasindependentvoice.com. This is actually being filmed for my YouTube channel, which is TIV space Tara's Independent Voice. This is my husband, Bill.
Hello.
Hello. And our cat is over there doing God knows what. Anyways, so last week we had a discussion about our thoughts on Jesus. And my thought is that Jesus is actually the one pulling the strings for the saviors. That I think Jesus is the brains and Negan is the one who is the hitman. He's the one willing to kill people willy-nilly without any problem. So I'm going to start this conversation with this. Yes, last night's episode, and we are less than 24 hours away from what was last night's episode 8.2. I don't keep track of what they call the episodes. There, it's funny because every TV show they usually name their episode, but it's really just for the sake of keeping everything in order on the technical side. Whereas it's very important, fans have taken to. I mean, you can say like season 2, episode 5, and they'll be able to tell you exactly what that episode was about. Me, episode 2 to episode 8.2 goes further into showing that Jesus is not what he seems. His eyes are getting a little crazy. He is now not allowing the people from the groups that have made up who is going into one of the satellite my mind goes. So one of the other compounds that Negan has put around, if you remember, was it last season before last, they went in and they thought they had taken out all of this group that we now know as the Saviors, after the motorcycle gang gets blown to smithereens, and those were Negan's guys, and that kind of started this whole thing in going. And so 2 of the women went in, took that out. She's over there. I don't know. She's a scratcher. But so the directions from Rick, who's in charge of everything, is to kill them all. And when you think about it, and this was even emphasized last night, when who was it who didn't kill who they were supposed to kill, and it turned around on them and got him. I think it was, I don't remember. Somebody was supposed to kill somebody last night. They didn't. They let him go, and it turned around to bite him in the ass. And that's what happens. So when your leader tells you to go out there into the world and kill every savior you can find, regardless, that's what you do. Now, there was another little monkey wrench thrown in last night, which I think we should probably put on the back burner right now. But some more things that happened last night that have kind of made me think that, and reinforced what I already believe, which is what I explained about Jesus being the guy pulling the strings, the one in charge of the saviors. And that is the simple fact that he does not want any of the saviors dead. He wants them captured and rehabilitated, and doves will fly. Okay, this isn't going to happen ever, never, never, ever. But I don't know. I don't know why people aren't just saying, "Are you crazy?" You know, it's like sheep. Some of these, even some of the casts that have been there forever are like looking at each other and stuff, but they're still doing what they're told by Jesus. So I think that's a problem. And if Rick lives through, which he will, lives through the issues that came up last night for him, I think he's going to be pretty pissed off. And you know what? The whole war will have to start over because they will have to go in and pick off the people that Jesus let go or let live. Um, Last night, before having an unfortunate accident, and uh, that's all I'll say about that. Well, I mean, it was Morgan. Morgan, who became this pacifist and didn't want to kill anybody if he could help it, which almost ended up in a lot of people dying when he let the head wolf, go. And he ended up, doing some stuff. And then the doctor, I can't remember her name, the one that got the arrow through the head, she was talking to him, and she kind of brought him around a lot more than Morgan ever did. And unfortunately, he got bitten. He was bitten, not he got bit. He was bitten, and she had to put him down. Or I think Carol came and put him down. Yeah. Well, he was put down by a female. That's all that matters. But so this is my thing, and what happened towards the end is that Jesus completely, I mean, he had a lot of people behind him, but he said, absolutely not. We're not going to kill these people. We're going to capture them, and what did he say? Save them, retrain them.
I don't know. I don't remember that part.
Get rid of their PTSD, whatever the issue is. He's not killing people. And you know what? They gave up really easy. There was a lot of people, there was a lot of the group there that Rick sent. There was a lot of them still. And some of those people are still back going through Zombie War 1. And unfortunately, Aaron's boyfriend got hit, and Aaron's dragging him off. We don't know what'll happen with that. But I mean, that's Jesus is out of there, so that doesn't really matter. And I couldn't pick out anything from that entanglement. We did not see Negan yesterday, last night, so we don't know what's going on with Gabriel and Negan. I can only imagine, I hate to say this, Gabriel is probably trying to turn him to God, and Negan thinks he is God, so how can he turn to himself? I don't know. That makes sense, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's what Gabriel would try to do, unless he's crying and in a corner. I was hoping we were past that. I mean, he's been through several seasons, and I really thought we had gotten past that. And if, for all we know, we have. We don't know what's going to happen in that room. It may be that the zombies take whatever's going to happen away from him, and it happens with them because there's tons of zombies and they are completely surrounded. We have seen this scenario before. It usually doesn't work out well, especially when you have two combatants inside. And I think one of them isn't afraid to die and the other one's afraid to even talk to anyone. So that's what's going on in Zombie War 1. Zombie War 2, which is the second location, is just gone to hell in a handbasket. And Rick's there, but he couldn't come down there the way he was supposed to. He was out looking for guns. You know what? Those guns weren't there. And there was a certain somebody that he met up with, and didn't that guy say, there's no guns here?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk about who that was in a minute. Uh, I want Bill to digest this for just a second. It's kind of like we're having this thing. We don't really argue that much. When we do, I'm right and he's wrong, so the argument has to happen. But otherwise, there's not a lot of arguing in this situation, and we're usually spot on with each other when it comes to what's going on. But this is different. I'm just so stuck on this is what's going on. I think, I think that obviously Jesus is pulling Negan's string. Jesus is out there right now. And if you see the video before this, I'll try to put the link to it below if I think of it and can figure out how to do it. I'll do that, and then you can see our first video, which started out, what I thought what he thought. He came up with a very good idea, and I'm going to turn that idea around this time. What if Negan and Jesus are together, but Negan is the leader and Jesus is his bid doer? Jesus does his bidding. And his bidding right now is to save as many of Negan's people as he can and to kill off as many of Rick's as he can. Now we know that they've been set up by somebody. We also know that Dwight got a message from seemingly Daryl. I'm still not completely convinced that we didn't see two different scenes and it wasn't Daryl shooting that message. I don't know. Somehow that's screwed up right there. But seemingly Daryl sent a message, shot shot it with an arrow towards Dwight. Dwight picked it up and looked at it, and it said, what did it say? Tomorrow, right? So Dwight wrote something else down and shot it back, and Daryl seemingly got it and went on his way. So Dwight looks like Dwight is turning on Negan, and if he can do it, it's a good trick. If he can't, he'll have more than just an iron burn on his face. And I wouldn't even want to imagine what that man's worst is after what happened to Glenn and Abraham at the beginning of season 7, the beginning of the second part. You know what? Why can't we just have one whole season? Like, just do it and then do reruns like they used to do when I was a kid. Remember that? I'm sorry. I feel like I have a hair right here and it's like bothering my nose.
It's a ghost.
It's a ghost.
Zombie ghost.
It's a zombie ghost. That's kind of a double negative or something. Anyways, so what if Daryl and so anyways, Dwight is supposed to be telling them stuff. And apparently one thing he verified is that each outpost, or at least this, war number 2 outpost, has guns. That would make sense. There's so many people there that have guns. But you'd think a group like this, who went around taking over half to 3/4 of what every other group has, would have mega guns at every one of their, however many it is, satellite situation. Their satellite areas. Tell me what I'm saying. They're satellite compounds. Yeah. There are other compounds. There's the Savior's big compound where Negan lives, and probably some of his most favored. And then there's the other compounds where, kind of like the bullpen, when you lose one, you go get one from the bullpen, tell them to start warming up because you're coming into the big game. But it doesn't seem like we're there. And it also doesn't seem like it was easy to take over even though you notice something else, and this is an interesting thing, at both of the two compounds that we have seen that are satellites of the Savior's compound have been run by women. Who does that remind you of? Oh, Bill. The other two groups, the the Garbage Pail Kids with the kind of Amazonian, but in a,
I don't know what they were called.
they're called they have a name, but right now it's the Garbage Pail Garbage Pail Kids, because that's all I can come up with. They're ran by women. Oh, what's the other group run by women, Bill? There's another group.
And that's the group by the ocean.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, do they even have any men?
No, no men. They got rid of all their men.
Yeah, and that's an interesting. I got the hair. I got it. Came from there. So happy. Anyways, so we have groups ran by women when there's plenty of men around, a group ran by a woman when there's both men and women around, and a group run by only women, and I don't think there's a man in sight. And yet all our the two groups we've seen of the satellite compounds for the Saviors have been women, run by women. Okay, that's okay. Maybe Negan feels like he can control women better. Although the women he's put in there have been pretty badass. The one last night, I wanted to slap her across the whole thing, but couldn't do it because Zombie got her for me. Ooh, yes, that was pretty cool. So anyways, that's my theory. Well, first of all, that I'm not sure what Daryl's doing, but whatever it is, Negan either knows about it,
Daryl
or Negan. Negan either knows that Dwight is not playing for his team anymore, or Dwight has gone and said, this is what I'm going to do, or maybe Negan asked him to do that, and maybe he's not even sure which team he's on yet. I don't know. It's confusing, but it's The Walking Dead. So that my issue right now is that Jesus is still plowing through, looking crazy, and pretty much threatening, was it Tara?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much threatening Tara that she shouldn't shoot anybody. Well, she should.
See, you have to be careful because Jesus was shooting them. When they were coming into the house, going through the hallways, he was shooting the Saviors.
Did you see any fall down from his shots?
Yes, he shot him with the gun.
Okay. Well, that's good.
When they went into the room with Tara, he had his hands up. And Jesus said, don't shoot him.
Okay. And
it turned out he was wrong, but...
Yeah, that's the one that was wrong. That's the one where he was letting him go, and it came around to bite him in the ass. You know, the guy was acting, no, and then what happens? Well, the guy grabs Jesus and has his gun to his head. You know, if I were Tara, I'd hold my gun up and say, shoot him, and I'll shoot you. Or if you don't shoot him, I'll shoot you. And when he shoots him, I'd shoot him anyway. This is the way The Walking Dead works. That's a good point, Bill. But first of all, he still only had a handgun.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Oh, that's all Tara had.
But Tara's Tara. She can shoot with a handgun. You know, now Jesus, have you ever even seen him with a gun when he's going out? You know, this is what this whole thing got me started at. He's disappearing from the hilltop for sometimes days at a time. Where's he going? Where's he going? No, you haven't had a good I got no, yeah, no, you did. You said he could be going to the wolves. If anybody doesn't remember the wolves, and maybe you're a new watcher or something, they had W's on
You
the.
haven't seen him that much.
Yeah, they were in one of the last fights for Alexandria before it all went crazy.
But they all resemble Jesus.
They don't
They
resemble.
all have long
They all
hair.
had long hair. Other than that, no resemblance. The one that we thought was the head, the cute one, who was on It, who was in It. He just played like this minor character.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have light eyes. He doesn't have long hair like Jesus. He has long hair. I have long hair. Am I in cahoots with Jesus?
Yep.
That hurt. That hurts. But
I think Jesus has a second story. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know yet. I don't think he's in cahoots with Negan. I think he might be on his own with the wolves.
if he's not on his own with the wolves. And how many of them could there be?
We don't know. There was a bunch of them when they attacked Alexandria.
Okay.
And I've never seen the wolves and saviors together. I think they're two distinct groups, but maybe not.
Well, that could be, but I don't know. I mean, it's a viable possibility. But it's also a viable possibility that Negan is a psychopath instead of just a sociopath slash serial killer. As I mentioned before, I believe he was an accountant in his first incarnation of life, and I don't know, mild mannered maybe. Put his wife down because she was gone in the first go round of the virus, which we don't know where it comes from, which we never know where it comes from. But why would the wolves wait this long? And it would make sense because Negan's going and taking over every group. He's got Alexandria. He's got the Garbage Pail Kids, and I apologize profusely for calling them that. I just can't remember what you call them. Probably the Garbage Pail Kids isn't the nicest. Let's just say it's
Garbage Clan.
well, that's better. Let's just say it's the Wrecking Yard people or whatever. Wrecking Yard. That's a good thing to be. I just okay. So Negan got Alexandria in a really horrible way. He goes in. That's what he does. He goes in, and he absolutely decimated Alexandria. He caught them while they were out. He didn't get all of them, but they were trying to pull something they thought they could do to get rid of what they thought was Dwight and some people, just to go in and find out that they've got a psychopath who is just ready and willing, and he's going to kill one of them that they know. And that is to spank the others into submission. And with Rick, it worked because Rick, ever since Lori died in childbirth, Rick lost his mind then. And it seems like when he gets some extra tension in his life, he loses it. You can see it in his eyes. He completely is. Right now, he's like in kill 'em all mode, which I agree with. Jesus wouldn't do it. And in each group, somebody screwed up. You know, obviously, Father Gabriel, instead of just going in the car where he was supposed to, eyes straight ahead, he stopped to help somebody. And what happens? The zombie herd finally gets there, and he ends up in a enclosed area, little like boxcar thing with Negan. That is not a hotel room I would be in ever. Um, then you have Jesus messing up Rick's group. Rick and Daryl each are in that group, and inadvertently, Rick messed up, and then Morgan got in the middle of this gun down, and now he's kind of nuts, but he has, he can't hear because it's lucky to be alive. Anyways, Bill, I have talked enough and you have talked a little, but I want you to tell me why I'm wrong, and don't call me names because I'll cry.
Well, it's not that you're wrong. It's just that we just don't know enough about Jesus, the wolves, and everything to know what's going on. There's a second story there somewhere, but I'm not sure where it is yet.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't developed all the way.
That's probably totally true. It's absolutely totally
Give
true.
us a couple more episodes and we'll probably know a little more.
Or we'll have other
ideas by then.
Other people will pop. As we alluded to earlier, another person did pop up in this episode. Bill, do you want to tell them who it was?
That was Morales from the first season.
The first season, the first episode. I think he was in. No, he was in the first episode.
Was he?
Yeah, he I believe helped them get Rick. I don't know, but he and his family was at the compound, so it was first or second season that Morales was there. He was part of the group that Rick found Lori in, that Rick found his son Carl, and that Rick also unfortunately found Shane, who had taken over his whole family. But this man Morales had his family, had his wife and his daughter there with him, and he decided not to follow Rick to where he was headed, which at that time was going to be the CDC, that right there in Atlanta, to see if they had any, maybe a good place to hide, which actually it probably would have been, but they had, the CDC probably has every fatal bug known to man, and I don't really want to be there. And when you stop and think of it, when the guy in the CDC blew up the building, I'm surprised other diseases didn't come out and make super zombies or something. But
that's because fire usually kills it.
Maybe
that kills any disease.
That's a wide brush.
Even zombies.
No.
They burn up and...
Nope. We have seen it over and over on The Walking Dead when zombies walk through fire and just keep going. You have to shoot them in the head. They really don't like that, and they die.
You shoot them in the head, and then they burn them.
Right. But the burning doesn't kill them. It's the shooting in the head. Anyways, what's Morales' story? Right now, as of last night, he had Rick. And he was, it's like, it doesn't matter what happened in, Atlanta. This is now. And I'm thinking he probably lost his family and somehow blames Rick. Why didn't we stay where we were perfectly fine at? But they weren't perfectly fine because there was walkers coming in through the forest, and they were not very
They
mild.
didn't have any protection.
They didn't have any protection, and they were quite a ways away, not very far away from one of the major cities in the United States with millions of people. And of course, Daryl, and at that time, Daryl and his brothers and his brother were kind of, you know, hard to handle, and were going to do what they wanted to do, regardless if zombies followed them back to the compound. So they had to leave. And that has resulted in where they are now and where they've been. And I just think I'm there may be other people involved, or I may be completely wrong, but I truly believe that Jesus is a part of this. Now, whether Jesus is pulling Negan's string or Negan's pulling Jesus, is saying, maybe Jesus has family. There was a room that Rick found that really freaked him out. That's when he started freaking out yesterday. That had a baby in it. Was the baby dead? He didn't even check.
I don't know. He didn't check.
It was just on his back, and I think it was a little. No, it was a little girl, and it said Gracie.
Gracie.
Yeah, Gracie on it. Why does that ring a bell? There's something in the back of my mind that's saying Gracie means something, but he just kind of freaked out and turned around and walked out. And I'm sure he was thinking of Judith, but maybe that is Morales's baby from another woman, or from maybe his other child was.
Was the baby dead or alive? We don't know.
We don't know. We don't know.
He was in there alone.
I don't know why. Well, if Rick could have at least felt down to the baby to feel heat and know that the baby was okay, I don't know. But anyways, what are your thoughts? Are we like freaking out like Rick, or is this a viable conversation to have? Could Negan be the hitman and Jesus be the real guy, or vice versa? Are the wolves involved? Haven't seen them for a long time, but Negan could have taken him out, or they could have patted away and gone somewhere else. But they also could have stayed in the woods and watched over.
Not going to let them fight it out and then take over whoever.
Yeah.
Whatever's left.
Or maybe they're working for Negan. Negan knows everything. He knows everything. He knows what Rick's thinking before Rick does sometimes. That's scary. But it also might take some forewarning from somebody else. So there you go. So everybody, I would love to hear what you think. I will try to put a link down below to the last video. And I will put a link to my other channels. I have a channel about Disney pens and a channel about Funko Pops. If you don't know what they are, well, you know what Disney pens are. But if you don't know what a Funko Pop is, take a look, because they're fun. I don't have one. Oh, I have one to show you. It's Bob from Twin Peaks. Completely useless character. Most people couldn't say who he was. I know who he was because I watched Twin Peaks. Anyways, if you want to see like better characters, give the channel a look. So this is Tara
and Bill
King, and we are
The Walking Dead fans.
Yes, that's what we are. Not experts, just fans. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye.